I know technology is so temperamental. You really want it to work, and that's when it won't work, when you need it
Yep,
the most.
exactly. All right, women of
Yeah.
God. So we got here with us tonight. Thank you for
Mm.
being here. Is Shirle Perkins, Lady Perkins. She is a phenomenal woman of God. And I'm not going to introduce her. I want her to introduce herself. Tell us a little bit
Okay.
about who you are and what beautiful things you offer to the world.
Okay, I'm Lady Shirle Perkins, and I'm here in the greater Cleveland area, and I am a pastor's wife. Yes, shout out to Cleveland. So I'm a pastor's wife. I've been in ministry, a pastor's wife for about 14 years now, to be 15 in May. And before that, I was a minister's wife, and then he was a deacon before that. And I grew up as a preacher's kid. So I've been in ministry for quite a bit. Yes, shout out to the preacher's kids. If you can make it through that, it's phenomenal. But because I did go through that experience, I didn't necessarily want to be in ministry. I was ready to be set free. You know, when you're 18 and you're dating and you just hope that you're going to date someone who isn't in ministry. And that's how it started out. But God just has another plan. And sometimes you can go willingly or you can go unwillingly, but either way, you're going to go.
Yeah.
And through the years, it just took a different mindset, a shift, to be able to accept it and to be able to thrive in it. And so for the past several years, I've been in training for how to coach. And I wanted to help women find their purpose.
Okay.
And through my coaching journey, I've had many people say, why don't you reach out to ministers' wives? And I was like, no, I want to go a different direction. But it took like 3 or 4 years, and I'm full circle right back to that. The Lord has just really been placing on my heart, and coaches like Dee have really helped me to go deeper within myself. And I realized that this journey is very unique, and they do need someone to come alongside them. So that's why I reached out to Dee. Earlier in the year, I had just been watching her and took part in your webinar, and it just really floored me seeing the webinar. And I just kept going back and repeating it. I said, you know what, let me just call her and see what it is she can offer me. What can she tell me? So, and it's funny because when you're praying, you know, people tell you now set an intention. I didn't know that's what I was doing. I just prayed, and God was setting things up for us to be able to meet. And I had been with many coaches before, and they've helped me through this journey. I don't knock any of them. Everyone has helped me to get to this point, but it was always some pieces that were missing, and I just really couldn't put my finger on it. And when I met up with you, the process you took me in, it wasn't just technology, and that's one of the first things that you said when we met. The mechanical stuff would take care of itself, but mindset.
Yeah.
And that's what you really impressed on me. I keep hearing that over and over in my head.
Yep.
Mindset is key. Mindset is key.
Yeah.
And as a woman in ministry, a minister's wife, I understand very much that is important. You just can't move forward unless you have your mind right.
That's
so
right.
You helped me with that.
Good.
Yes.
Good. And so Shirle said something really, really key. You know, the logistics of your business, you know, it does take some training. It does take some learning in that, right? How to and why you should be doing certain things to kind of set up a structure and a system around your business. But if you got all of those pieces, but you're still scared, you're still
hesitant,
you know, we talked about that fraud police, right? I mean, that stuff is real. And especially when you get out there and you get in front of people, there's got to be some inner game.
Yes.
Some inner, you know, work that we have to do every day, right, Shirle?
Exactly. Every day, every night, every moment.
That's right. It has to become a
Mm-hmm.
part of who we are as
Yes.
entrepreneurs. So
Yes.
Cheryl, you watched the webinar, right? And
Yes.
then what was it? Because again, you had already invested a little bit of money in in learning how to put this whole system together already, right? So
Yes. Yes.
what was it, that made you say, you know what, this is what I need. I'm gonna go ahead and go all the way through, because you went all the way in. You didn't play around with it. And
No,
that's
no.
how I am. I'm all in. Yes. So what was your
Yes.
why?
Well, my why was in reaching out to ministers' wives. One of the things that I realized is that we are closed mouth creatures. We are open hearted as far as giving love out to others, but we're very closed heart when it comes to sharing our hearts and our dreams and our wishes. And so when I was reaching out to different ministers' wives, I just wasn't getting response. It was almost like crickets, And I was wondering if maybe I had my wires crossed. Maybe this is not what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I should do something else. And so I said, well, you know what? It was just something about your webinar that just kept coming to me. The fact that it was named, Christian women and service-based, and though it just fit me to a T.
Mm-hmm.
So the copy and everything in there just really spoke to me. And I prayed about it, and the Lord said, just reach out to her. So as a matter of fact, the first time that we were supposed to meet, I missed the call. And it disturbed me so bad. I felt so bad. And my family saw it. They said, oh my gosh, is it really that big deal? I said, yes, it's a big deal. You just don't know. This is my moment. I know it's my moment. So I was reaching out like, please forgive me. I don't know how I had the wires mixed up, but can we please meet again? And you were very gracious to open your calendar up again, because I just inherently knew that this was my moment and that I needed to connect with you. And I have not been disappointed. The fact, no, yeah, the fact that you helped me to get over that hurdle, and just to be able to sleep better about my calling, and to reach out to the women and to understand them better. And in understanding them better, helped me to understand myself better.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited. So that was one of the things that really touched me. Your webinar was very well organized. I've seen, many webinars before, but it was just so very well organized. And I said, okay, I want to know, how did she do that? How did she do that? How did you, speak so eloquently and get your point across and be able to reach my heart? And that's what I want to do with women, be able to reach them where they are.
Yeah.
So that's why I connected with you.
And so now, right, you have a group, you have a community of your own that's filled with women who are married to men in ministry or leadership, things like that.
Yes.
Pastors' wives. And they are like, you had, like before you were getting crickets, right? When you were reaching out to them. Now it's like, they're coming to you, right?
They're coming in. Every morning I wake up, I have new people who are in, and they are thanking me for having a group. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
You're thanking me? I'm thanking you, And one of the things too that the mindset process teaches you is not to question as far as people coming in, and not to feel, not to devalue yourself. If they're coming there, it's for a reason, and you have something that they need and that they're searching for. And so that humbles me, every time they come in. When I first got my first one that came in the group, I was praising the Lord. It's like, I have one. And so now it's over 100 women in a short span of time. And they keep coming in. And when I post things, I get response back, So it just shows that this is a tribe that is just like me. So when I post something, they think like me, they respond like I do. And that is such a rewarding feeling to know that there's someone else out there like you.
Yep. And some people that can really resonate with your message.
Yes,
and
yes.
they want your help, right?
Yes.
So, okay. So we get on the phone, we're talking through everything, right? You decide, yep, I'm all in, I'm ready to go. Okay. Then when you get access, right, to the modules and things like that.
Yes.
What did you think? Without going into all of the details of everything, but what was your first impression like? Was it like, whoa, like what in the world? Or like what were you thinking?
Well, no, I was excited. Now, one thing about me, I'm a learner. So the more you put out there, the more I'm going to take it in, you know? So I loved it. I love learning online. I love learning on Zoom this way. So either way, it's good for me. But when I went into the content, I was impressed that, you know, we only get it once a week. So you don't get it all at one time. Because with me, I probably would sit down and try to get it all in 1 week. Because I'm thinking, okay, 8 weeks, you know, I could short circuit this. And I would really caution the women, don't worry about the time that it takes. Don't short circuit it, because the journey is so rich. I mean, every week was a joy. And I look forward to the times when we were meeting together. It was like a mini revival.
It was.
And the reason it was so good is because usually as women in ministry, we're so busy ministering to everybody else. It's hard for us when we get into service to really just focus on us.
Yep.
But our time together was a time I could focus on me, focus on my heart set, my mindset, my business, and the relationship with me and the Lord. And that's what those modules do. They open up your relationship with the Lord. It opens up your relationship with people, and you just appreciate the journey more. So I'm glad that you slowed it down and just, you know, give it out once a week.
Yep.
And now when you were asking what was my impression when I first looked at it, I was like, how in the world does she find the time to do all this? It's like an encyclopedia in the first week. And I said, okay, I'm quite sure she gave us quite a bit this first week, and then it won't be so much the following weeks. It'll just be like review. No. Every week was something new that added on to what we had the week before.
Yep.
And even in my own personal study, I would have just a few of the notes. And so I said, okay, I'm ready when she meets with me. And when you met, you had me put down so much more than I had on the papers. Like, and I would be near tears at the end. That's how great the revival was. It's like, I had no idea I had all of that on the inside. And you encouraged me, yeah, you have that and more. I'm like, I can't imagine what more. But every week I discovered more and more about myself. And that's a joy.
That's great. That's so good to hear. It's so comforting to hear. And the thing is, like, it's not just about, you know, mindset and fluff, right, and things in the air. This is correct. This is the real work. And then, because I always like to say, like, if you're gonna learn business, number one, you gotta be all in. You gotta go all the way or nothing at all. Because the little bits and pieces and stuff like that, it's not really gonna move you. But then that, like the logistics, you know, click here, click there, here's why you do that, here's why you don't do that, all of those things, you still have to have that inner core so that you can show up powerfully, right? Because now you got a tribe of your own. Now you got people that are following you. And so that's the thing, as in business, you know, we're going to be having people that's looking to us to lead them. But if we're in the corner biting our nails and we're scared to move, you know, people follow courage. They want, you know, they want to know what's possible for them. And so I think, Shirle, when you came in, you hit the ground running. You hit the ground. I mean, you showed up like on the calls. You had questions. You know, we would just go deep dive in it. And part of it was not just the modules, but it was really your grit. We even ran into a barrier, right? We had a huge barrier.
With the ads, you mean? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And something like that, it was such a great roadblock that something like that would make you quit or would make you again question, am I in the right place? But you were able to come with a calm head and with solutions, and it's like, no, we're going to get past this. And so I learned how, and I've always had an A plan and a B plan, but sometimes it might take me a while before I get to the B plan. But with the mindset, it makes you think, get that B plan right now. You're not going to quit. Find another way. You'll find a way. So you helped me to find a way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. That's where your grit showed up extremely powerful, right? It's like, you know what? I know this is ridiculous what's going on. I'm gonna hit this. I did this. And you were extremely resourceful. I like that part about you too, that you were like, you were thinking of ways even around it, even before we came up against it. You know what I'm talking about? And that's a part of it too. All of that is what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. We cannot run, and stick our head in the sand every time something comes up, because it's going to keep coming up. Things are going to come up. Right? And you got to have that knowledge, that grit, and that, like Shirle said, burn the ships. There is no plan B. This is it.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. This is the moment. Seize the moment.
Absolutely.
So we got that done, and the results were phenomenal. And that's the other thing too. When you get over your hurdles and you see the fruit of it, it makes it all the worthwhile. You don't mind the struggles. You can appreciate more the joys.
So now, you have that plan, how to attract people to, what it is that you offer, helping, women to find their purpose and really stand strong, even when their husbands are called into ministry and they're like, what in the world am I supposed to do with this, right? So now you have a plan all the way from the beginning to the end of how to really, call them forth and walk alongside them. So again, it's not even just about enrolling people in your program, because you have those skills too, right? Like we talked about, how to actually do that and make that transaction happen and all of that stuff, all those pieces parts. But it's still the bigger piece of it is you now know how to call women forward and say, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there. You can be all that God has called you to be. So what is the one thing, right? So there's going to be hundreds and thousands of women that watch this and say, I'm like in that place where, I'm watching all the free webinars I can get my hands on. My inbox is like blowing up because people are dropping all kinds of stuff in there, free this, free that, and still don't have that strategy, still don't have that process. They still don't know what they're doing. What is your advice to them?
I would say contact D. That's what I'm going to say right off the bat. And I would say everything you just described, I was that girl. And probably still somewhere inside, I am that girl. And it's called that shiny object. You're always looking for someone to give you the answer. But you just need to slow down. And, it'll probably sound like I'm here to advertise for D, and I don't mean it to sound like that, but I've been through some things already, so I can let you know that this is the real deal. And I just love the program. I love the modules. I love the woman who's behind the modules, and that means a lot too. You want someone who has a testimony, of walking with the Lord daily and not just in this for the business. There are people out there that will just take your money and that's it. But this has not been a waste of time for me. And I was sharing with you before we opened up the broadcast how I work full time also. So sometimes I can't get to this business. And so Monday and Tuesday were very busy days at work. But today I didn't have that. And it was just, I was excited to know that I could come here and do this work. And that's what this program has done for me. It has lit my fire. I wake up every morning excited. Well, what else can I do for this group? What else can I do for my ministry? And I'm just writing out not business plans, but vision. Not business plans, but vision about where I want this group to go, where I want the women. And I pray for the women. I pray for each one that is coming in the group. And because I want that group to be as special to them as this ministry here has been to me. So when something is poured into you, you can't help but pass it on. So when you come into these modules, that's exactly what you're going to do. Pass it on to the people who are your tribe. So I would just say, quit looking for all of these different strategies. The strategies that you need are right here, right here. And you'll get the work done. You'll get it done.
And so some of them are really afraid, and it's not even just like, you know, investing in themselves, but some of them, Shirle, feel like they can't do it, like they're not good enough, that they don't have you know, enough credentials, or they don't have a huge booming Facebook page, or, you know, they're not known by a whole lot of people. What would you say to them, you know, from your experience now on the other side? What would you say to them to encourage them to keep moving forward in their dreams?
I'm very much aware of those feelings of not feeling like you're enough, and being afraid that if you get out there and you're the leader, how can you help someone? And the fact is, if you're looking at this broadcast, you already have a desire to help someone. And that's where it starts, is with the desire. And God can take that and your obedience, your faithfulness, your strong work ethic, and your desire to just help someone. He can form that. And one thing I love is that God is not asking us to depend on ourselves. He's asking us to depend on him. And I find that when I do that, I am more than amazed at what he does through us. And so if you are afraid, I would say come afraid. If you have questions, come with your questions. They'll be answered. Fear is all right. It's if you go somewhere and let the fear stop you, that's when it's wrong. But the fear should fuel you to keep going. Just do it in fear, and you're going to be all right. If I can do it, you can do it.
Right. And if I can do it, you can do it too.
It can be done.
Yeah, it really can. And I love that. You know, first of all, I want you all to see why I love my clients. Like for real, like they are the real deal. Like Shirle is the real deal, seriously.
Oh yeah.
So with that though, right? It's like I love when you said, if you just trust God, you know, and learn how to surrender to God. God is not looking for us to do it all in our own power. It's not by power, not by might. He says, but by my spirit.
By his spirit.
Because I can do all things through Christ, not through Deirdre, not through Shirle, through Christ who gives us strength. And so when the Lord has called us to do a work, you know, it's cool to be like Gideon and be like, God, are you sure you called me for this? You know?
What can I do?
What can I do? Right? But, but when the Lord has called you to do a thing, that means he is ready to equip you to do that thing. And it's your assignment. It's my assignment. You got to be accountable to that, right, Shirle?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. So
God shows that he's able, and he just wants us to be willing and to be available. And you know what's the wonderful beautiful thing about that too is that he's going to do the work, but you'll be right there to witness it. Oh, it's astounding just to witness the works of the Lord, and you have an up close seat at God's work. So that's why it's important. Just do it in the fear.
It's all right, y'all. It's all right. You got to reach beyond it. And I said it, I was talking to another one of my ladies, and she was telling me, we were talking about how you just have to do it afraid. You got to reach beyond it. And just know that God is for you. He's not against you. He wants us to stand boldly, on his word and declare it. And even in the marketplace, a lot of people are like, well, how am I supposed to be a Christian, have Christian values in the marketplace? It's like, what? Like, that don't even, what do you mean? You can't separate who you are. You are who you are. And the Lord desires to love on people through serving them. Serving them with their problems and helping them find solutions. And so they're not going to be able to find us if we're not out there in front of them. If we're stuck.
That's true. That's true. And you repeat that over and over in this program. You have to make sure that you show up. You don't want to be the best kept secret. And there are some gifts within each of us. God has planted a gift. And like I said, if you're on this broadcast, you already have a desire. You already know that it's something that God is telling you to do, or you wouldn't be here. So the thing is, the next step is to move forward with that desire. And that is have someone just take you by the hand and show you all the things that you need to do and to strengthen you so that you can come out and be on your own. And I'll say this too, at the end of the program, I was so used to our time together that I was looking forward to that. And I said, you know what? I know this is the last week. And I have to understand the process. Those are the times where you'll get afraid. It's like, okay, I'm out here on my own. What do I do? And you spoke to me and said, no, you have everything that you need. You have access to the program. You can do it. And so next we talked, I said, it's almost like when you have a child and you raise them up and it's time for them to go off to college. Now it's time for you to put to work the knowledge that I've instilled in you. And so that's what I had to do. So the times I was tempted to call him back and say, help me. I said, no, you can do this. You can figure it out. And it just made me work harder and be more appreciative and honor the teacher,
Good.
Honor the teacher. Yes.
And so part of that is, right, I know a lot of times, and this has even happened to me before, to invest in, some training, but then when you get all the way in, you realize that it's not everything that you need, that there's an upsell afterwards. There's a back end to give you the extra thing to, to figure it all out. But really what we've had, what we've built right here is everything from A to Z. Now, anything extra just takes you kind of over the top. It's not, anything on the upsell or anything like that, you got to have the upsell in order to have the complete process, right? You got the complete process right here, right there from
A through Z.
Yep, A to Z. And so I am creating some things for my clients, and you guys will be grandfathered in it because I just love spending time with you. I love it.
This is going to be so fun. Yeah,
I know. It is. And I'm looking to have that summer or fall where we can, have some time together and, fine tune and things like that. But for there's no upsell. There's no anything after this, as of yet. That because everything that you need is here. It's all in the system. It's all in the program. So.
Yes, it is.
All right.
And that's how you know when a program is legit too. If you have fruit that you can show at the end of the program. And so I have fruit. I was able to name my business. I made it an LLC. I have my banking together. I have my Facebook group together. And so it's fruit. As you're going. That's why I said you won't mind the process. Just enjoy the process.
Yeah, just go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and enjoy. And
Mm-hmm.
part of that, let me tell you though, part of again, part of what Shirle is talking about is Shirle's resourcefulness. Shirle showed up.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't miss a call. She didn't miss questions. She,
True.
contacted me in between the sessions to get her questions answered. She didn't,
Yes.
she was resourceful. She really showed up and owned her learning process. And that's really, really
Yes.
key because when
Yes.
we take ownership of our gifts and our business and our success and even our failures when we mess up, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I did that. Okay, well, let's fix it. You still have to show
Mm-hmm.
up and take ownership. And Cheryl did that. And that's why she's getting the results and will continue to get even more as you move forward because
Yeah.
that's just who you are. That's why I love my clients. I love them. I know.
Yeah.
Are awesome. Okay. Super, super awesome. So
Yes.
any other
Yes.
lasting words, anything, perhaps there's a pastor's wife in the group, right? And maybe
Yes.
her husband has been called to ministry and she might be in a place. Maybe you could speak some words of encouragement to her and some of the other sisters in the group. What do you have to say?
If there's anyone here who is married to someone in ministry, and that is the one thing in the group, I wanted to have wives of church leaders, not just pastors' wives, but deacons' wives, because sometimes those wives are overlooked, and you never know where you're going to be in your journey. I never knew when I became a deacon's wife that one day I would be a pastor's wife. So I wanted to be able to put my arms around them and to lead them. So if there's someone here who is, just wondering about the call and you're not quite sure what you need to do, my words of advice is to get into the presence of the Lord. And I know that you already are. If you're here, I know that that's the type of woman that you are. Stay in his presence and to make sure that you get a wise woman who can counsel you. There's a lot of fluff and stuff out there. And as ministers' wives, I'm sure that you have seen that. Make sure that you don't get caught up in the fluff and the stuff, that you get down to the nitty gritty about what God has called you to do alongside your husband.
Yeah.
And this is one of the greatest ministries. It's one of the great burdens on the heart. I understand that, but it's also a great ministry that is very worthwhile. And, we just long to hear the Lord say, well done on this journey as wives in the ministry.
That's right. And that's that.
Mhm.
Wow. See, that's why she's great because that's a lot. I mean, you are building a business. Your husband is
Yes,
a pastor, right? And
yes,
you're
yes.
heavily involved in teaching and ministering in the church. And you
Hmm.
got family, you got other things too. So, you're still going. You're still
Yes.
reaching for that servant well done,
Hmm.
because it really is about the calling, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
And learning how not to lose yourself in the process.
Mm,
We lose ourselves in the ministry trying to help everyone else, but you can't help anyone if you allow yourself to be neglected,
yeah,
your dreams to be neglected, your heart to be neglected, your desires. Those things are legitimate, they're authentic, and they need to be addressed and they need to be placed in balance.
mm,
Um, so that you're not just thinking about you and it doesn't matter about him. You have to learn how to work as a partner. And so that's one of the things I love to call us is the appointed partner in that ministry. Nobody can do what you do. So and nobody can be you. So we get ourselves again in the presence of the Lord and put ourselves under wise counsel so that we can do what we need to do in this calling.
that is amazing. That's
Mhm.
amazing. And so the next time that you guys go to church,
Mhm.
okay, and you see your pastor's wife or the minister's wives or the deacon's wives, I want you to understand it's a big
Their
deal,
journey.
right?
Yes, yes,
Love on them, be
yes.
good to them, be kind to them, okay? Because
And pray for them.
they're taking care of our leaders when nobody else is around, right?
True.
Right?
That is true. That is
When
true.
yeah. So like even with pastors, like when they come home, the church doesn't stop being on their mind, and wives are there to take care of them and, you know, and serve them and serve the people of the church as well. So love on
That's true.
your pastor's wife, your minister's wife, deacon's wife, leader's
Amen.
wife.
Amen.
Love all wives.
Yes, yes.
All right. Oh, Shirle, I'm just so grateful to be able to hold space and share space with you. I think you're a phenomenal woman of God. I think
Well, thank
that
you.
all of the women in your group, in your tribe,
Mm.
those that are coming, they're going to be blessed because you said yes. They're going to be blessed because you are willing to serve them. They're going to be better. They're going to be better
Well,
because of you. You are their
well,
mentor.
I praise God for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And so for
I
all the
do.
other women who are watching, you know, it's bigger than us. It's bigger than me. It's bigger
Yes,
than Shirle.
yes,
It's bigger than us being in front. It's bigger than that. It really is about helping someone else get their next, right? So
yes,
that they
yes, yes,
can move forward. And that's what it really is. So thank you for saying yes. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey and
yes.
helping you along the way. And I'm just looking forward to further, you know, communion with you, and we just
Oh, yes.
getting together and, you know, and just sharing more time together. So good, 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 good. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you for asking me. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Anytime I get to come back on and talk with you, it's all good.
I feel the
It's
same
all
way.
good.
I really do. All right. Well, you go ahead, get back to your
All
group, go
right.
ahead, love on them some more. And
I will. Thank you.
you're
Have a
welcome.
good evening.
All right. See you
Bye-bye.
later.